Hey y'all, good afternoon. Balancing the phone again. Cool. Okay, I'm so glad I discovered this and I don't have to mess around with my tripod anymore. Um, this is going to be a very womb centered phone call, and how appropriate that I have my womb shirt on. This is like one of my favorite t-shirts. It's a little womb with her ovaries and her sunglasses, and how perfect my moonstone lands, like right in the center of the womb space here. And then it says "You do uterus." It's like my favorite thing. I put it on last night to sleep in, and so yes, I'm still in pajamas technically, but because I knew I started my period yesterday, last night, so I was like, yeah, we're wearing the womb shirt. I've gotten to a place in life where I really enjoy being on my period. Like, who knew that was ever even possible, right? That I celebrate my period, but it's such a good time for me. Which I'm trying to decide, is that another conversation or not? It's not necessarily the conversation I thought we were going to start with. But it may be a good little short conversation to have. No, that's a conversation for another day. We'll talk about that though. We'll be talking about all things periods, and yeah, we'll go there. Just not today. But yeah, so that's why I had my womb shirt on. And then when I woke up this morning, I would just really wanted to play, I was thinking about sending out an email to my list, and I knew I didn't necessarily want to send out anything serious, and I don't love the idea of just taking everything I post in the group and putting it in my emails, which is kind of what I used to do. I like the idea of having separate defined containers, right, for content. I don't know. And so I was like, I just want to do something fun and lighthearted, something easy. I really just wanted to connect with people and share, but not necessarily share this powerful, important message, right? And so about probably a year ago, more than a year ago, because my sister got pregnant and ruined it. So, and her baby's over 1. So probably a year and a half ago, my twin sister started working for me as my VA, my virtual assistant. And we were working on new things, just new things to bring into my business. And she has a blogger that she followed who does Friday favorites. And every Friday she would just share some of her favorite stuff. And it was her favorite email from this person. And I was like, that sounds amazing. Let's start doing something like that. And, but it wasn't the top of our list, so we started doing other things. And then she had to go get pregnant and have this adorable fat squish of a baby who I just adore. So I guess it works. But so that popped back into my mind, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, we'll start the Friday favorites. And Friday favorites doesn't sound that exciting to me. And I was like, no, Friday fun day, because fun day is, Friday, fun day. See, they're the same. Friday is one of the days of Venus, who is the goddess of beauty and love and abundance and all the things I adore. So it felt like a good day just for fun. Fridays, I don't necessarily want to do hard work. I just want to play. So I did the Friday favorites thing, and really took some pressure off of myself, right? To not have to do all the things and not have to be a super serious day. And I really owned that desire for play. And then I was on a call for a group program I'm in, which y'all, those of you who are new here, will come to learn. Those of you who've been here for a while, I am constantly investing in my healing journey. I am always investing in support, even when it's I don't even know how the heck it's going to work out. I love being in group programs. When I'm not working one-on-one, I love being able to do stuff like that. And so I was on the call for that, and was getting some one-on-one energy support. And I thought I was getting on the call to talk logistics, which just how I thought I was waking up to work, right? And the first thing I noticed is my heart's desire to play. She's really wanting to play and connect and share. And I could feel how she was just kind of blocked. I have this old pattern that was blocking her. And so super long story short, and I just see so many butterflies in the yard right now. They're distracting me. They're so good. There's like a big orange one and a yellow one. It just came closer. It's like flying in front of my window now, like back and forth for us. But anyways, so the truth is, like, I know what I want and I know what I need and I know how to do it. My womb knows. And this old piece of me tries to act like I don't know, right? And is really used to going into fear and doubt. And it's almost like this really ancient central nervous system piece of me that's been in operation for lifetimes. And it's like my system, myself as a whole, knows the new way. Like, I know how to use my womb and my heart together to create. But this old piece keeps getting in the way. And so I went and took a bath to kind of soothe and calm this old nervous response piece and to sort of get it out of the way so I could create and play and give my heart what she wants, right? So after a while soaking in the tub, I feel myself calm down and I start to chat with my womb. Because I realized a couple days ago that, Sacred Mother over the summer is a really dumb idea because it's a highly immersive container for the women participating in it and for myself to hold. And we're all going to have kids off of school. I'm sitting here stressing, like, how am I going to make this happen? Like, how am I going to be able to hold this space with Gus off of school? Like, I'm going to have to spend a lot on childcare. And I was like, wait a minute. We're all going to have kids off of school. So I decided to push that back to the fall when the kids are in school and we can't necessarily use our kids as our excuse, right? Like, I no longer have an excuse to worry about holding this space. And then the women in it no longer really have an excuse to not show up. So whatever, that happened. So I'm in this kind of void where I'm really wanting to play, but I don't want to do single sessions anymore. I don't want to hold just one-off spaces. It doesn't feel good to me. So I was like, all right, and Sacred Mother's like pushed back to like September. So I was like, so what do I want to do then? And my womb came forward that she like really wants to hold, like, the cats are playing, there's flowers and butterflies. I keep getting so distracted. It's like so springtime outside right now and the sun's out. I'm going to try to stay focused. I'm going to grab my pyrite and ground myself a little. Anyways, my womb is really wanting to hold like a deep 4-session container for womb awakening. And that I'll share more about it. But what came forward was that I want these women to have access to my group journey, my online class called Embody, which those of you who have been here before, I'm about to give you exciting news. Those of you who don't know what Embody is yet, it's a month-long journey for healing your relationship with your body and working through a lifetime of body trauma, body shame. And also, we end the journey by arriving at your womb space and by meeting your womb. So I know I've been talking about womb healing and relationship stuff and parenting stuff and motherhood and marriage stuff. And this is sort of designed to drop you deeper into yourself, to give you some safety, this connection to your body, to your physical self, this source of support and power and nurturance. Is that a word? Nurturance? This nurturing space, because we're all so disconnected from our bodies. But again, I'm getting on a tangent. I can talk more about that later. But I wanted to give that to the women who sign up for these womb awakenings for free. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, this feels really good. And my womb was like, yeah, you know the work. Here's the container, like super simple. And then my heart was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, can we hold Embody again? She was so excited. She's like, can we actually do the thing again? Because I've done it twice and it's been amazing. And she was like, yes, we can definitely do Embody again. She's like, and there's got to be some changes. So my womb is totally down with holding that space again. My heart is like ecstatic. And so for those of you who've been through the program before, there will be some changes you'll need to know about, but I will go into that But I just want to pause for a second because I feel like I finally got out what I wanted to say, which is that Embody is back. And I'm so excited. Oh my God. In my womb shirt, my uterus shirt, on a Venus day where like all I wanted this morning was to play, and I thought the email was going to be enough, right? I'm like, oh, the email's my play. Guz's babysitter picked him up from school because they haven't seen each other since this summer, so I had extra time than I usually have. So it's like, that'll be my play. Little did I know my play was going to be so much more. And that's kind of the message I wanted to hop in here with, is like, never underestimate what can happen when you give your heart permission to play or to want what she wants. Just like those of you who saw my live stream where I talked about the session with a client where her womb was so exhausted and tired, all she wanted to do was just lay there. And when I told her she could do that, like, you know, like what would make doing that more enjoyable? Like, could I support you by giving you some water? Like, would you like to lay on water and do nothing? And she was just like, oh my God, yes. And so giddy at the idea of like, wait, I get to just play essentially, you know, like I don't have to do something important. I don't have to do business. I don't have to do something serious. Like I don't have to do hard work right now. And once she started to play, her whole system lit up and was like, yes, she's back. They were so excited, right? And so I feel like it's the same thing. Like when you give yourself permission to play and then follow the breadcrumbs that are then going to start dropping on your path, there is so much that can happen and shift and that you can receive or create, you know? And so we think we're always having to do all this hard work, this serious business, when really that's the magic of being a woman, is that if we follow our pleasure, then we make the magic. So much easier. Easier than we ever imagined, right? Like trying to figure out what to do with this void between programs, between like ideas. Normally I could have spent a week here. You know, lots of times stressing and being overwhelmed and worrying about it and trying to figure it out with my brain. But instead, I just listened to my womb and I'm like, what would turn you on, right? Like, what would feel amazing to be doing right now? What would feel good? And like, yeah, holding Embody would feel amazing. And giving the women who want to do womb awakening, like a one-on-one womb awakening 4-session package, giving that to you for free feels amazing. And now I'll come to the things that don't feel amazing about opening Embody again. In the past, I held it for $100, $111. And the first time I did it, I knew, I was like, it's not going to stay this price because it's super cheap for what the journey we're doing, the work we're doing. It's not as immersive as Sacred Mother, obviously, which is 6 months. This is a month. But it is immersive and it is like a really deep experience. There's a lot of opportunity to really go there and create some massive healing for yourself. So, but I held it for $111 the first time because I just wanted to try it out. You know, I hadn't held the journey before. I didn't know necessarily, like my womb knew it would work, right? My brain didn't know if it was going to work. Like, so I wanted it to be a super easy yes. So I made it $111 and was like, it's not always going to be this cheap. Well, then the next time around, I kept it that cheap and I let everyone who has done it in the past do it again for free. And while I loved being able to make it super accessible, you know, while I really loved being able to continue those ripples with the women for free, that they got to just keep doing it forever, what I noticed in the second program is that it really affected the space. It really affected the circle. Because what happens when we do a group program like this is we need everyone invested, right? We need a solid circle. We need everyone to be in. And what happened was people were in the group who, or I think I charged like $11 to do it again. So we had people who were invested at $111 and then women who were invested at $11. And it just created, I feel like it created these energetic weak spots, these pockets, this mismatch or this misalignment in the group. because everyone was invested at different levels. Because some women were in there like, okay, well, I may as well, right? There wasn't necessarily a strong desire required to land in this space, but a strong desire for shift, for change, for evolution, for healing was required to move through the materials, right? And so a lot of women felt like they were falling behind. A lot of women felt like they were failing. And not as many women made it to the end of the program as they did the first time around. And so I can see now in hindsight how that really didn't support the group. And so it didn't support the women, you know, who were investing in it at the $11, right? Like I supported their stories about not being able to have the money, about not being able to ask for that much support for themselves, right? I supported their stories. I didn't necessarily support their power. I didn't necessarily support them in their ability to commit to their healing and invest and be able to show up. And so I don't want to do that this time around. I want to honor the container. I want to honor the depth of the journey. And so on Saturday, tomorrow morning, when I wake up, the price will be going up to $275, which still feels like super, super affordable for what we get. We get 5 group calls, 4 weeks of healing work, and then I'll be available in the group to offer energetic support between support calls. And on the support calls, everyone on the call will be getting one-on-one energy support. So you are deeply held and supported, and the work we'll be doing is powerful. It's life-changing. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the journey, in week 1, we meet your body. We say hello. We open the door of communication because we are not used to communicating with our bodies. We're used to fixing her, changing her, being ashamed of her, trying to get her where we need her to be, right? We have all this shit, but very rarely have we ever sat down and listened to our body and actually talked with the body. So week 1, we just meet the body, and it's super low pressure, but it's intimate. You know, it's gentle and sweet, and it's powerful. Some of the stuff that comes forward in the first week is really, really powerful. And so this is good if you have birth trauma, breastfeeding. If you had breastfeeding trauma was the thing that sort of was my intention when I worked through it the first time, was with my birth trauma and breastfeeding trauma and postpartum depression, especially if you never got help, if you never told anyone about it. And even if your children are grown, you still have that trauma in your body. You still have that locked up in the body. Sexual trauma, sexual shame, shame and judgment around your sexuality that's keeping you from connecting with your partner. Whether it's about your physical body, whether you think your body is gross or your vagina is gross or your breasts are gross, or that oh my God, vaginas are dirty and sex is bad and I'm not supposed to like it, but I'm weirdly supposed to like it in secret, right? We get all this mixed message shit about our sexuality. And so this is a good journey for helping you to unlock your shame stories and your fear and your conditioning around your sexuality so that you can connect more intimately with people in a more conscious way, in a more whole way. It's good for working through body shame and insecurity. It's good if you have highly symptomatic PMS, or highly symptomatic periods with lots of pain. I know so many people who have traumatic periods, and that's not normal. And I'm not saying not normal as in bad or wrong, but that's not the ideal experience, right? It doesn't have to be that way. And so this is a good place to start connecting with your body and see what's the root of this? Why are my periods so awful? Some of you might have heard me say how I'm celebrating being on my period, that I enjoy it now, and be like, what is she talking about? But it's because I have a few hours of bad cramps at most. And that's if I'm really working through something, I don't have a ton of symptoms around my period anymore, at least that aren't energetic. It's not anything like it used to be. And so, I just invite you to consider that there is a different experience possible. Even if you've been told that your horrible periods are normal, or just something that's physiologically wrong with you and you need to be on medication or fixed in some outer way, then I invite you to consider that maybe that's not true. Maybe there is another way. Maybe getting to the root of it and talking to your body and letting her tell you about the problem could open up possibilities for healing that you never knew were possible, that you could have never found from the outside, and definitely not from a medical perspective, you know? So yeah, those are some things that if you're dealing with that, I would invite you to consider embody. And then in week 2, we look at the ways we're addicted to disconnecting from our bodies. Most of our day-to-day addictions are so that we can numb or distract or flee from or avoid our body's signals to us, our body's messages. And the body is where we access our wisdom. It's where we access the womb. You cannot access womb energy, which is your wisdom, your creative potential, until you've unlocked the body, because the womb sits in the body. And usually she's part of the reason we fled from our body in the first place, because we were taught that our female bodies are wrong or dangerous or sexual and sinful and need to be covered up, right? Like I could go on and on for days about the conditioning we receive as women growing up, as young girls, about our bodies. So no wonder we've all fled from them, right? And we're so used to tuning her out. You know, when she's screaming with pain on our period, we like, oh my God, I'm on my period. How do I shut her up? When really there's a part of you that's screaming and grieving and wants to be heard. And so I'll hold space to help you do that. We'll start to rewire some of your addicted patterns of disconnection and rewire them for connection. We'll kind of use the system against itself because we have these things in place to help us disconnect. And what we'll do is we'll sort of shift it and use those triggers to call you in to connect. Week 3, we honor the ever-evolving self. So how many of you feel like you have to have this perfect, set in stone you that you need to be, right? Like we feel like I need to be this person and I need to be her always. You feel like there's no wiggle room to like have bad days or to change your mind. You know, like this isn't the stuff I talked about when I first started teaching or doing healing work. And if I hadn't been willing to evolve and change and become something different, I wouldn't be here talking to you about this today. I wouldn't be happy that I'm on my period today. Like there's so much in my life I wouldn't have. And so I encourage you to find a evolving picture of who you are. And we connect with your soul. And your soul can let you know who you are and guide you. And you don't feel like you're connected to this outside definition of who you need to be as a person, and can instead find that anchor inside of yourself and use that to guide your decisions. It's really cool. I like that week a lot. I like that whole concept because I used to feel like I had to pick someone and stay her. So the freedom to evolve and expand and grow and change is amazing. And then the final week is meeting the sacred feminine. This is the week where we honor the holiness, the divinity, the perfection, the magic that is the female body, that is being a woman and having a womb space. It's so good. And it will unlock so much opportunity, so much magic, so much creative potential in your life when you unlock the womb space. And so that is our 4-week journey. We'll cap it with an opening ceremony and a closing ceremony in the weeks before and after our 4 weeks of class. You'll get every module on a Sunday night, and then you work through it through the week. We'll have our calls on Thursdays, except for the one on Holy Thursday will happen on Wednesday. And I would say you probably need about an hour a week to do the work, to commit to that. An hour a week for the course materials, about an hour to an hour and a half for the support calls, and then 15 to 20 minutes a day, or just your awareness throughout the day to integrate the other things. And so Gus just got here, so him and the sitter may be walking in soon. But yeah, I'll talk more about it. We will start on April 4th. will be our opening ceremony call to drop in and set intentions and start activating our magic. But registration won't actually close until the first module goes out on April 7th, the Sunday after that call. So, but today is the only day that I'm offering it at $111 because I wanted to still have a window, right? I still wanted to give, my heart was like, okay, I understand we need better boundaries on this one, and can we just have this little eke of a spot where we can make it really easy to say yes to this journey? And so we conceded on that. They came to terms and agreed that that was a good idea. And what I love about that is it helps to start get the energy flowing through the container. We can start working some magic. The moment you say yes, you'll start to notice things. I mean, the moment I said yes to holding the space, I was messaging my friend, and she's like, holy shit, I just went outside to read your thing, and a giant vulture just flew over me. I was like, oh my God, and I could feel it. And I was like, I feel like that's my period energy. Because like the vulture is like the master cleanser, right? Like it comes in and just picks the bones. It gets the stuff that like everything else leaves behind. And so I see it as like this massive cleanser. It's not scary or destructive. It's like creating like even more space for new growth. And then, yeah, so anyways, she sees that and it flies around her the whole time she's reading my message about opening the space again and like what I'm wanting to do. And I could just feel it like, yes. Take up space with yourself, like do this work, like I'm here supporting you, I'm creating this space for you. And then I sat down to start doing the lives, and I see butterflies everywhere, you know, and I see the cats playing, like literally playing in the yard. And so I'm already getting signs that this is going to be a good, magical, amazing thing just from saying yes to holding the space. So know that just saying yes to hopping into this journey is also going to start bringing you lots and lots of magic. So if you want in at $111, I'll put the link in the comment. I'll put a few links in the comments. So I'll put a link to the information page with all the details on Embody, what it is, and the whole journey. I'll put a link for purchasing it at the super discounted price, and I will also put a link to the Womb Awakening package that if you decide to dive into that, you get Embody for free. And so if you're interested in that, if you know you like really want or desire some deeper work, message me and we can talk more about it. You can also read more about it on the website. I'm like, where are my words? I'm trying to hurry so they can come inside. Yeah, let's just take a couple breaths together because that was a lot. So in through the nose, out through the mouth, softening, arriving. One more, just landing back in your body. Yes, so the journey will run from April 4th, through May 7th. And yeah, it's $111 today. You can still sign up after today. It's $275, which I feel like is still a really affordable price point for the depth available for the journey. But it also creates the investment that your energy needs to show up and work through trauma and tough shit in your system, right? So yeah, if you want to join me, I would love, love, love to have you. And feel free to message me or comment below with any questions. Let's see, anything else? Nikki says that's absolutely true. Yes, I think she's talking about how you get magic the moment you say yes. Yes, 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 it is so true. Lindsay, I was telling them about the vulture that just flew by when I was messaging you. And then while I'm on the live stream, there's like nothing but butterflies and cats playing in my yard. So good. So yeah, never underestimate what can happen, how your day can shift, and what can become possible when you choose to follow play, when you choose to follow pleasure and joy and goodness. And you might be surprised at how much easier you can create and do things in your life. Sending y'all so much love. Enjoy your weekend.